Welcome to the Coaching Crowd podcast with me, Zoe Hawkins, and my friend and co-host Jo Wheatley.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's episode. Today, we're going to be talking to you about 10 reasons to become a coach. And the reason that we're covering this is because we know a lot of you are listening and thinking about training to be a coach. And when I have the conversations with people joining our programs, they'll have their own reasons. And then they'll say to me, and why do other people join the course? Because there's that wanting to know, am I going to fit in here? Is this the place for me? So we thought we'd give you a little bit of insight into the many reasons that people do choose to become a coach.
Absolutely. And I think the one I would start with would be because you want to, which I know sounds really straightforward and really simple, but I cast my mind back to when I was looking at different coaching programs and I'd been for a couple of taster days or taster sessions. And at the end of it, I was like, oh, it's something I really want to do, but I'm just not sure. How am I going to use this in my role? And how am I really ever going to set up a coaching business? I mean, spoiler alert, clearly I did. But at the time, I was there really because I was interested and fascinated. And so in the end, I self-funded my coaching training because I simply wanted to. I just wanted to go and learn more, enjoy the challenge of that learning journey, and spend some time on my own learning and myself, free from whether it was anything to do with work or anything to do with business. I really just wanted to enjoy that journey. So I think quite simply, reason number one for me would be just do it because it's something that you want to do.
Yeah, and I suppose the other flavors of that piece, as I listen to you talk about that one, are because you are worth it, because you do deserve it, because you are enough without it, and you choose to do it as well. For me, so reason number two would be about being able to work flexibly. So the reason that I trained was because I had my first child at that stage, and I was enjoying my HR career, but you'd have to request to go part-time and it may or may not be accepted. And I was working part-time. I had reduced my hours, but I knew that I loved working and I wanted to be able to flex with the needs of my family and my growing family, and my partner worked away. So I was a single parent for half of the year, and I just wanted to be in control of my life, of my working hours, as well as the hours that I had with my family. Now, I'm not saying, the reality of that isn't exactly that, because it is a business and clients want to have coaching, or we put on our, now we have our programs, they're at certain points in the year, and doing other work that we do through the business. And I get to set my own boundaries. And that was a really big reason for me.
Yeah, that was a strong motivator for me as well. And obviously we set the business up in 2011 and I was pregnant at the time, and my husband was also working away. He was in the military, and I sort of looked at my life and I was like, who's going to look after the child? I was traveling, he was traveling, work was unpredictable. There were business trips that would come up here, there and everywhere, and we lived far away from friends and family who we could call upon to support. And you're right, setting up a business doesn't mean that you have all the time and all of the freedom, but there's so much more freedom that comes. And I think it's being able to set that on your terms. And of course, that's if you're looking to set up your own business from coaching, which obviously we were in 2011. But like I said, when I trained as a coach, my mind was open as to where that might take me. And importantly, for me, having done the coaching training already, when me and you were having conversations around, so what do we want from our careers and what do we want to do? And we formed the idea to go into business together. I was already trained. And so the door was available for me to walk through. So had I not done the coaching training all those years before, I'd then at that point, in deciding, yes, I want more freedom and I want more flexibility, I would have had to have gone and trained as a coach, which might have been another 18 months to 2 years. So I was able to move before I was ready, before I saw the opportunity. And then the opportunity presented itself at a time when flexibility and freedom became really important for my career and where I wanted to take it. So I do think those people who have a value around flexibility or have a value around freedom and an interest in becoming an independent coach, because not all our learners have that interest, some are there for other reasons, then I think coaching can be an absolutely fantastic career to start with.
What have you got down as number 3?
I've got loads here. So let's see what I can pick up on. Maybe that's the next one as we sort of talk about freedom and flexibility, is the desire to run your own business. So for me, I always wanted to have my own business. I didn't necessarily know it was going to be a coaching business, but that sort of entrepreneurial spirit sort of runs through one sort of half of the family. And I think it was in my blood that I was sort of destined to have my own business. I was very fiercely independent as a child, wanted my own way, even when it probably wasn't the best of ideas. And so it sort of lent itself nicely to being able to run a business. And I've got the tenacity and the drive and the determination to sort of move that forward. And I think if you're somebody who really relates to that and feels that having their own business is something that they would fit well with, enjoy, thrive on, then coaching is a great way to integrate that into a business. And of course, it doesn't mean you have to be a coach. Look at us. Yeah, we are coaches, yes. But our coaching training journey led us to become a coaching training organization. And obviously our services are much broader than just one-to-one coaching these days. And we look across the industry and we see people doing some really interesting things. There are consultants that bring coaching in as a secondary kind of bolt-on service. We met this week, didn't we, with Paul Emsey from the Growing Coaches, who has developed a platform, and he's taking his coaching training in a different direction in an entrepreneurial way. So a coaching training program doesn't necessarily mean that the only career you'll have is as a one-to-one coach. It may ignite some real innovation and curiosity in you to take your desire for a business into a direction that you haven't even yet discovered. So I think that would be my reason number 3, is because you feel like you have a business in you and perhaps you're just not sure what business that is yet.
Yeah. And I remember saying to you, I didn't think I had that in me, because as far as I know, there wasn't really that in my background. So it wasn't really somewhere I was looking, but I did choose to do an A-level in business. So I obviously did have an interest in business. And I think for me, that came more from a wanting to understand the world of business and what opportunities are available there. How does it all work? Wanting to know really the answers to things. But when I think about the business that we have today, I love the coaching work that I do on a one-to-one. I love the group programs that we do. And I love the business side. And the business side is a constant source of stretch and learning. And I love that I can identify something that I want to do, or other people want to do, or we want to do. We may have never done it before, and then we learn and we find a way. And I personally love that aspect of it, as well as the aspect of it which means that we can earn what we want to if we put our mind to it, and we do the research and we create great programs or services that are going to add value to other people. So for me, that interest in business is there, and I often think I really love that side of it. So number 4, I think, let's take it in a different direction now. I just wrote down, actually, it's to have coaching. So if you're doing our weekly formatted program, you're going to be in the container with your cohorts for about 8 months if you're doing the level 7, which is the master's level qualification. That means you are going to get coached twice a week for most of those weeks, because most of those weeks you are doing that full-on practice. So if you think about how much it would cost to be coached twice a week for 8 months, that is the investment for your coaching in itself. And then the coaching qualification that you get is almost a bonus then. And it's that incredible opportunity to really be coached on in the moment stuff. So stuff that's going on in your week on a week-to-week basis. You don't have to bring like massive things. You can bring more of the day-to-day stuff if you want to. You might notice themes around those things that you're working on, but also other people are being coached as well. So it really normalizes coaching, because you can really see how everybody and anybody can benefit from it if if they have the opportunity and the time to invest in coaching.
Yeah, training in CPD for me has always been a self-development journey. So I will go into a coaching training with my eyes open, right? So I'll be there because I want the extra skill on my CV or the extra qualification to be able to provide a new product or service to my clients, but I am there for me. That's my primary objective. So wherever I've done my NLP training, I've done my coach supervisor training, I've trained as a hypnotherapist, all of those things are there predominantly because of my fascination and my desire to learn new things to further my own growth and further my own sort of personal development. So I think it's an absolutely legitimate reason to come on a coaching training program, because you are perhaps confused about your future career and you don't know where it's going, and you can't see yourself in your role for the next 40 years through to retirement, and you'd like to do something else, but you're not really sure. You could absolutely invest in a coach and they would be able to support you in developing that clarity. Or why not come on a coaching training program and not only be coached and get the clarity, but also then get the skills to be able to self-coach yourself for the next 40 years yourself. And of course, if you want to, you have a qualification in coaching, which is fundamentally going to help and support you with your career, whichever direction you probably end up taking it in. So I think that's a great reason. So one that I put down was around side hustles. I know we're bouncing between your own career and having a business, but I think this halfway house, isn't there? Which is many people who come on a coaching training program don't want to go all in and have a fully independent coaching business. They are integrating it into the career, but they also have this piece in the middle, which is, I really like this. I'm really fascinated in business. I'd like to just have a small portfolio of clients. And that might be in a pro bono basis, in working with charities and doing good causes, or being in your community and supporting it in some way. Or it might be a commercial entity in something that you want to perhaps build out further in your retirement, or just have that ticking along in the background. So I think if you have that foot in both camps, so one in your career and one in your aspirations for something more independent, then a side hustle is a great reason for you to be able to commit to a coaching qualification.
That's exciting, isn't it? Because you're keeping your options open, and for a lot of people, what they do in their side hustle resources them to be able to do what they do in their main role. And it is a big decision to decide to leave that safety and that place where you are an expert, but having that side hustle can certainly fulfill that. So I think that was number 5.
I lost count, so that's why I sort of didn't give a number. So I'm glad you're keeping the numbers.
I'm writing it down as we go, because otherwise we'll end up at 21. So number 6, I think, for me, was about finding a place where I belonged. So the coaching community, in my experience, is really supportive. It's creative. It is they're loyal. People are loyal to each other. They want to support, and they want to see people get to do what we all consider to be really important work of supporting people to be the best that they can be. And I could have gone down a formal training route and trained as a psychotherapist. I didn't. And now I'm really, really pleased that I didn't, and that I have found this place that for me feels like this perfect match of, like we were talking about earlier, the business, the opportunity to be in business, with you together, having created it. We aren't so confined by the sort of more traditional, if you like, kind of structures of those more formalized, I don't know if these are the right words really, but I think people will know what I'm referring to as coaching is more, we go and work with organizations or with individuals that come to us, and they talk about what they want from the coaching, and we create a program together. So for me, it has enough of the freedom aspect, the creative aspect, and I just honestly feel like I belong. And I felt that when I was doing my coaching training, I just felt like this is what I am supposed to do with my life. These are the people that I want to be around. I want to wake up every day and know that I'm going to be having contact with all of these people, which is a big reason why we became a coaching training provider, was to give more opportunity for people to be able to have that similar experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And I relate to that, and the community we've created in the coaching crowd. We see that every day with people helping each other out with different coaching questions. It's an incredibly supportive community. And of course, we hear stories beyond our communities where perhaps people are having a different experience. But, for us, coaching is about leading from the heart. And I think you attract people who also lead from the heart. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not commercial with it, because obviously we run a business, but we attract people who are like us and have shared values, I think, and a shared desire to raise the standards of the profession. And our heads are down doing what we do in service of our clients, and we are there for each other. And I think it's a brilliant community to be a part of. And that extends to the professional coaching bodies as well, with the EMCC, the ICF, the Association for Coaching. Wherever we go, we always find people who are incredibly willing and supportive and encouraging of our careers, regardless of whether they're in the same profession or not. You find coaches are there to help other coaches. We all rise together, I think, is the essence of what we experience in this coaching industry. So I think the next one, if that was 7, then this makes that 8. Am I good?
No, I think I thought we were on 7. I thought this is 7 now, so we'll class it as 7.
Okay, well, let's just see how many we end up with when we listen back to the podcast when it's released. We're going to give you a number of reasons to be a good coach. I think this relates, and it's about the love of learning. So both you and I share a value of learning. And obviously, I mentioned earlier, do it because you want to. But I think the thing with coaching for me is you're never done as a coach. And if you've listened to this podcast or follow me, you'll hear me say that quite a lot. And it's such an ever evolving industry. It's eternally fascinating. There are so many different avenues you can go down. And it comes from a place of, I'm not going on CPD after CPD because I feel I need to prove my worth. Like there is a space for that. I think that sometimes you don't know when to stop and consolidate. I go down the CPD route because I am endlessly fascinated by what I find and what I learn. And I love to experiment and apply, all the things that I learn from different teachers, mentors, methodologies. And so if you have a value of learning and you find that you love a challenge, it doesn't stop in the coaching industry. And I think that you might find that this industry is an amazing fit for you because of that reason.
Yeah, I mean, I love to learn. And I think in the early days, it did come both from a place of loving learning and wanting to be the very best coach I could be, and also an insecurity around, am I any good? I want to catch up with all those people that are really great. What have they done? Right, I want to do that. And then you can reach that point of, hang on, I just need to integrate this and work out who I am with all of this knowledge, skills, and experience. And the learning is, we're forever messaging each other, aren't we? With, look at this, I love this. Do you want to do that? This program looks amazing. And I think that the quality of programs is getting better and better and better. So yeah, if you love to learn, it's learning in the coaching relationship. We learn from our clients as well. It is that synergistic. And I think the best coaching is when you have created that type of, it's an adult to adult relationship. I have a huge amount of respect for the clients that I work with who are doing amazing things in the world. So yeah, if you love learning, you're going to love to train to be a coach. And I think part of that is because the type of training that you do when you're a coach means that all of the learning involves a very deep level of reflection, which can create a really deep level of connection to yourself and also connection to other people. So if you have a love of being in relationship with others, then you're certainly going to really love the experience of training to be a coach and all of the CPD that flows from that.
So another one then is...
Number 8.
I mean, what we've discovered is I can't count. So number 8, and I think you touched on it there, is quite simply that you love helping others, because that is not only part of the industry that you're part of that we talked about before, but the work that you do is obviously all entirely about helping others either to be the best that they can, or whatever problem you solve as a coach, it is about helping others to live a more fulfilling and fulfilled life. So I thrive on that every single day whenever I am working with clients, be it through these coaching training programs or in my one-to-one work with leaders. It's just such a privileged position to be in, and to be a part of somebody's life in a way that you can help them, with their goals and aspirations. I can never tire of that.
Yeah. And what I love is the opportunity to help other people to help themselves. That's really like my interest in it. And I do think I was put on this planet to have a helping role. And it was somebody on our course, wasn't it, that said recently that coaching is like hedonistic altruism, because it's not all about giving and not getting anything back. It's such a there's such a duality to it. So yeah, if you love helping other people to help themselves, then coaching, it absolutely is a great place for you to consider or to become part of. And so we get to the penultimate one, number 9. And I think this is about people who want to be really great managers or leaders. And we see more and more people on our programs that don't have any desire to set up a coaching business. They have a fairly sizable team. They have, worked their way up, their career ladder. And when they're thinking about CPD, they love to learn, and they're thinking, well, what do I need in order to become a greater manager or leader? And what you get on a coaching training program, as we said, is learning about yourself as much as it is about learning how to help other people. And so they transform, personally and professionally during the program, which may or may not have been what they fully realized that they wanted or that they needed, but actually they're able to take everything that we do on a week by week basis, and they're able to implement it in the context that they want to implement it in. So it's a great reason to do a coaching training program. And you won't be on your own if you're on a program and that's your reason for doing it. There'll be lots of other people that are also there too. And so then we try and put people into their triads based on what they want to do with their coaching training.
Yeah, it's a powerful network, the coaching training. I mean, we've had CEOs, COOs, right through to other ends of the continuum as well, where people are freelancers or independents, yoga instructors, driving instructors, small business owners. It's a really powerful network. And if that's something, again, that you're interested in, then you're going to find yourself in a great place. So I'm going to offer up number 10, because I think I've caught up on my counting now. So number 10 for me would be about, you care about quality and you care about being the best that you can be. Because yes, you could go into the coaching industry without a qualification. It's a deregulated industry where you can call yourself a coach and start working with clients, and people do. And our response to that is, why would you not want to be the absolute best coach that you could be? And coaching training programs, so particularly ours, where it's accredited by both the EMCC and the ICF, and it's a qualification through the ILM, offers you so many different avenues for quality assurance and also recognition of that quality in the industry, a globally recognized qualification with a globally recognized accreditation. The learning that you will all get on a coaching training program that is accredited and quality assured is just second to none. And if you're coming with huge amounts of experience, you're still going to learn something. We've had qualified coaches come and do our programs for their own CPD because they recognize that there are some topics on there that they haven't covered. And even if they have covered, revisiting them in order to get the feedback around how are my coaching skills to reintegrate into that practice community. So that for me is a number 10.
Yeah, and I think it can kind of enable you to leapfrog, because the level 7 qualification is accredited with the EMCC at senior practitioner level. So you have that foundation level of accreditation, practitioner level, senior practitioner, and then master level, which is the level that we are at. And so if you have previous years experience of coaching and mentoring, that combined with what you do on the course really sets you up to, get qualified. And then your next step is to get accredited. And if you want to have your own business and you're doing the work alongside that to set that up, it really does enable you to leapfrog it. And, you can hold your head up high out there when people ask, are you qualified? Yes. Are you accredited? Yes. To what level? And you can share that with them. So, I mean, you and I are certainly the type of people that go in at the deep end. We want the very best in everything that we do, really, and we're prepared to put in the work in order to get that and to be able to provide the very best to other people. And that is always our commitment to people that come and join our programs.
And you mentioned something important there, which not everybody may know about our qualifications, but when you do one of our qualifications at the level 5 or level 7, you get access to our business lounge. So for those people listening to this thinking, oh, I'd really like to set up a business, but I don't know how, I wouldn't know where to start. Actually, yes, our coaching training programs are all about becoming an amazing coach, but you also get access to our business lounge, which is there to support people with those early days and the developing phase of being able to grow a thriving coaching business. So we've got you covered on that angle as well.
Yeah. And you can find out more about that at igcompany.co.uk/lounge.